History, huh?
Bet we can make some.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish.
All right, good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome back to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast. We are streaming live and in color on YouTube, on our YouTube channel for all of our Patreon supporters. And if you're not, that means you get the video version of the show next week. So, you know what I mean. Anyway, my name is Tom, and I'm your host. And as always, I'm in the studio with my amazing co-host, starting with the first one.
Hey, y'all, Nick or Trish.
And
J-Bear, a.k.a.
Somebody's boyfriend.
Somebody's trick. But anyway, welcome back to the show. So, look at us. We're being productive. 2 shows in a row. We haven't canceled one.
Wow.
Well, that's what I was expecting today with Nick's initial text.
Oh, my God. I was kind of hoping Tommy was going to be like, let's just do it on Wednesday.
Well, I mean, initially we said, so did we not have this conversation? So before we even go anywhere, this weekend was Nick's birthday. So happy birthday, bitch.
Happy birthday.
So
Tom's over it.
I'm so over it. So over it. Because she's such a princess. And she's so hard. But we love her.
No comment.
So it was her birthday, and we celebrated her birthday on Saturday. She wanted to watch a movie, which we'll talk about later. And so I was like, okay, so we're gonna make this extra special. I went out and I bought a projector.
Which I was not expecting.
And I'm going to make it, a whole outdoor experience. And we're all going to like eat dinner and do all that good thing, all those good things. And then, watch a movie.
Yeah.
So I bought the projector. I bought the screen thing, and I set it up, and it was all beautiful and great and fabulous. And we were, just running along our evening, eating, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden the wind comes, and there goes the projector screen. And then it started raining and pouring, so we had to take all of the electrical equipment
and lightning and thunder
and put it away and just hang under the gazebo. So it totally ended up being like not what I planned, but it was amazing either way because we were out till like 3 a.m.
Oh, I know. I'm still recovering.
But happy birthday, Batch.
That's what happens when you get older.
Oh my God, it's terrible. Dude, it's so bad.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, I got home at 4.
Right.
And I was up at 8 the next day. So.
Girl, I rolled out of bed at like 9, maybe 9:15, something like that.
It's not a bad thing.
And I was sitting outside having coffee with Tom, and he was trying to do stuff around the yard, and I was just like, I don't know if I can adult today. And I had to go and like spend time with my family. And I got there. I was like, you have me until about 4.
And that's about it. After that, I turned into a pumpkin. And, I had to go back into my cave.
To my den.
Much.
Yeah.
To my den.
So basically what we're trying to say is that normally we talk about our weekends, right? What we did, what was going on. We were together.
All weekend.
Pretty much the entire weekend. So what you get from one is you're getting from all of us.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about Nick and his birthday and drinking and eating amazing food. So one of your Steves, oh my God.
Yes.
That boy can cook.
Those flatbreads.
Oh my God.
The
So
pizza, I took some home.
yeah,
There was leftover?
Somebody left a couple slices, and I asked Tom. He's like, "Toss it." I was like, "Sure."
He put it.
Tossed it right into my car.
No, because you know me, it's like, with my current health status, I can't really be eating a lot of that kind of stuff. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want Mom to find out. And she doesn't listen to the show, so I don't think. So she'll question me on Friday when she comes over for bingo. What was that you were saying? Can you tell me a little bit about that? No. No, but truly it was. We spent a great weekend together, and our chef, Steve, who owns Stellato's Deli in North Haven, that boy can cook his ass off. He
really
made the thickest pork chops I have ever seen in my life.
Seriously.
And we had braided steak that he braided and marinated himself, and he made roasted veggies on the grill or grilled veggies, and oh my God, we had the pizzas, the
mango salsa.
Oh my God,
So good.
On the hamburgers.
I even asked him, I'm like, did you actually make this or did Coco make this? Because that's the cook at the restaurant. He's like, no, I made it. I was like, wow.
he loves you.
Coco taught him. But
No.
yeah, that salsa was really good.
No, but it was overall, it was a great weekend, and now I have to figure out what I'm gonna do to.
And props to your burgers too. Your burgers
Weren't they the bomb?
Oh, yeah,
They were
like 2 in the morning.
At 2 in the morning,
Oh,
that
they
was
were so
the
good.
perfect. The perfect eats at that time.
I made
that was perfect.
16 handmade burger patties, and we destroyed them at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and then I had another one and took it to bed with me.
And she comes out of the bed because she stayed over. Obviously, I wasn't going to let her drive in that condition.
I literally said, I can't drive. I'm staying over.
Of course, but there's a spare
That was
bedroom, and so
expected anyway.
And so she walks out of her bedroom in the morning with her hair like this, and then of course
Goes
her
fix your cockatoo.
and so she's got her cockatoo to the right, her little puffy patches on, and she's walking into the kitchen with a paper plate like this was in the bedroom. I was like, bitch, you took it in there and ate it.
There was like half left. I threw it out.
Good.
No, but we had a good time, so I'm glad that and I got her ice cream cake, which she actually ate, because you don't never eat cake.
No, I don't.
That cake was.
It was really good.
fucking
We still have
good.
some left. It's in the freezer.
Wow.
We're gonna tear it up later
It was
after
like-
the show.
It was like cheesecake ice cream cake. It was so good.
Yeah. So now I know you like that. So
I like
that'll,
ice cream cake. Yeah.
that'll be your default birthday cake type of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and it's a good thing that I have a freezer chest downstairs that I can literally put the whole cake into, because that would never fit in my little
No.
tiny freezers upstairs.
No.
So, but overall, it was a great
Nice.
weekend.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, bitch.
I did want to share one thing.
Go
so I turned 26. I decided that this is going to be the year of me.
This bitch.
What?
Already lying.
36.
Already lying.
Yeah, I was like, huh?
36. I turned 36. And so I have a therapist. And
Of course you do.
and I'm trying to lose weight. I'm just trying to get back to who I, to me. And so my therapist asked me to start a journal. And so I did.
Of course
And
he
so
did.
on my birthday, I wrote this in my journal.
Oh.
I love me, but I'm a bit lost. You're beautiful. You're talented. You're smart. You're strong. You will be happy with your body again. You will find love. You will find yourself. You're enough. You'll let them go. You're number one, minus Demi and Daly. And
How'd that work out?
I just wrote it. So I don't know. It was just like, it was nice. It was like an affirmation, like just kind of like all the things that like I've been struggling with. I just kind of like wrote it down. And I think it's cathartic almost.
But it's also very inspiring, not only for others, but for yourself, right? It's like you're setting the expectation, not necessarily an expectation. You're setting your goals, and you're reinforcing the fact that these are achievable goals, that you can do those, right? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So yeah.
Good for you.
Yes, stupid bitch. Good for you.
Jaybird, how are you?
Good.
Staying good? Come into that mic, girl.
Come into it. We had-
Yeah, don't come into it.
no, come into it.
It's expensive.
Other people need to use that.
Yeah, I'm used to hearing that frequently. So.
Yeah, I know.
That other people need to use the mic. Where are you guys going with this?
I don't know where you going with it.
I know where you were going with it, you nasty
Right
little.
up to Rochester.
You guys are horrible.
We are. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. You recovered?
I'm recovered.
Are we all recovered?
I really didn't get up.
You and I, like, it doesn't matter how long we hang out. We can hang out till 3:50 in the morning,
Yeah.
or 4 o'clock in the morning. We could wake up at literally 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and this bitch has to be peeled out of her bed.
I was scrubbing
I
my
don't know,
grill
I just-
down
yeah.
at 8 o'clock in the morning with soap and water and hosing my freaking deck down.
And I hang out with mom on Sundays, so I got to get up and
Yeah.
kind of get ready to go pick her up and do my thing with her. So it wasn't too bad. Hey, I even surprised myself. I went out for drinks last night as well.
Oof.
Wow.
So
Yeah, no. I did the wrong thing.
I did the
last night.
celebrating for you.
Yeah, last night I did the wrong thing. I got home. So I spent time. So my parents are in town for about a month, and I spent time with them on Friday night. And my brother, sister-in-law, and Demi. And then came home. We had the party. And then the next day I had to go and we had family dinner. And then I got home and I was exhausted. And I cooked myself. What was it, like a early dinner? So we ate at like 2:00. So I was still hungry. So I cooked myself something to eat, and then I had a beer with dinner. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna knock myself the fuck out and sleep all night and like recover. So I took half a sleeping pill. Wrong decision. I could not get out of bed this morning.
What time did you take the meds?
It was like maybe 9:30, 10. And I was like, but I had, I had a couple beers at my brother's, and then I had a beer when I got home. And you really should not have any alcohol when you take a sleeping pill, because my ass was like I woke up like,
Oh my God, I can't. I'm gonna die.
I have to work.
That is hilarious though.
Yeah, the only thing I think this weekend that was a challenge for me was waking up today. And it's because I got home last night after I went out to the bar. I got home early. Usually I stay till like 1 and change,
mm-hmm.
Got home early, fairly decent time. And then I'm relaxed, I'm chilling. I lay down in bed. I said, I'm going to watch a little bit of TV just to kind of, I watch nonsense, stuff that's really not too, active. It's 2:30 in the morning. I'm still awake. I couldn't fall asleep. And I was like, even if I try to force myself to sleep, then I start catching headaches. So I just learned, just wait it out. Once my body starts feeling tired and I feel it coming on, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So,
I think I'm actually going to probably get like a life alert in case I do that again with the sleeping pill and give you each one so you get a notification. He's not breathing.
Actually, I think your watch can do that.
Yeah.
I don't.
If your
sleep
watch
with it on.
detects, certain things, you might be able
A low
to,
heart rate.
send
Send an
emergency
alert.
messages. Everybody, your mom.
2:30 a.m. My parents are getting messages that I'm sleeping and I'm not breathing. No,
Yeah.
not doing that.
But it's possible. But overall, I think it was a great weekend. So
Yeah, no, I had a great time.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. It was our pleasure to host you,
And it's over.
and it's over. Next year, bitch.
Get over it.
So all right. So listen, we've got a couple of things that we want to talk about. Obviously, we don't want to do a very long show today, so we're going to move right along. We do have a couple of things. Normally, as you can tell, right? We were talking about fun things and birthdays and blah blah blah. Our emotional spectrum is like all over the place on the show.
Oh God.
We go from
Well, it's mainly me, highs and lows. Like I cry a lot.
all of us. I think we all do. So I just wanted to take a moment to pause and talk about something that's been very horrific and sad, that's been all over the news, and that, of course, it is the wildfires that occurred in Maui, in Alaska, and I'm literally going through and reading, accounts and reports and watching videos of people who have survived this fire, or these fires, who have lost their homes, who have lost everything. I mean, this little town of Lahaina, Maui. It's a small, section of Maui that, it's pretty historic in its own right, and everything is gone.
How did it start? Was it
Wildfires, I think they said?
Yeah, it's a wildfire. It's still, they're still investigating. There's been reports that,
Lahaina.
they're questioning now whether, for example, the power company there should have turned off the electricity, to prevent, the wildfires from actually getting even worse. There's accounts of people that were jumping into the ocean,
To get away from
to get away from fires and prevent themselves from losing their lives. And in the end, some people ended up drowning anyway. So, you didn't get burned, but you drowned. And it's very tragic. But I mean, if you start, thinking about what has happened, I mean, we're talking about billions and billions of dollars in destruction. And when you see some of these photos, for example, I'm showing them on the live stream now. It's pretty tragic to see how one community can be completely wiped off the face of the earth in less than 24 hours. It's absolutely incredible. The cars,
sad,
incredibly sad. Yes, the cars.
It almost looks like they dropped a bomb.
Seriously, like look at these pictures. Yeah. For those that are watching the live video stream, you're seeing the pictures. I mean, you have structures that are like engulfed in flames, and entire towns have been decimated because of this. And then, interestingly enough, because there's always that one miracle, I want you all to look at this picture and tell me what you see.
That one house?
That one house in the corner. That did not get burned. That whoever owns that property, I have never seen someone who's more blessed than those people right now.
Yeah, and everybody else is like, fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for all we know, that one person having their property may be housing people who don't have a home right now, right? So, and given what I know about the culture in Hawaii, people are very giving and very, helpful in situations like this. It's just heartbreaking. And so
I saw an article about a couple from Cali that was vacationing there, and their vehicle was surrounded by the fire, and a native couple, had them jump in their car with them and literally saved their lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
What I didn't know is that
so many reports,
Alaska is at the forefront of climate change because of the northern latitude and seasonal changes in sea ice. The state is warming at 2 or 3 times the rate of the global average.
Yes. Yeah, it's affecting their fishing. It's affecting their wildlife. I remember Alaska, the majority of the people that live there that are not in Anchorage rely on the wildlife and rely on the fishing.
Yeah.
And they're putting more and more restrictions every year on their fishing. So they, the king salmon, the trout, the halibut, that's all to the, in that area. So a lot of the fishing that they do is not only for commercial fishing, but also sustainable living.
Right.
And it's taking a huge toll on the natives.
It's insane. I mean, when you think about, for example, the Hawaiian National Guard has been activated at this point. They have over 250 Guard members that have been activated to support the efforts of being able to reach these communities with necessities like water, goods, and it's just unimaginable. Like, I see one house burned down, right? And you see displaced families, and the Red Cross comes in and, does what it needs to do, and eventually they get back on their feet. We're talking about hundreds of families and thousands of structures that are just gone. There was a historical museum that was completely wiped out with a lot of historical artifacts from Hawaii. It's gone.
Yeah. That's crazy.
There's nothing. It makes you think now, with all the technology that we have at our, grasp, do you instead take artifacts like that and digitally or recreate them in 3D and display a 3D model instead of the actual artifacts and store them somewhere where they're safe to prevent losing such historical, artifacts that are valuable to the history, to the culture, and the people of the Hawaiian Islands? It's insane. Yeah. I was just beside myself, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. I know that you have been to Hawaii on several occasions. Your sister lived there for a while. You look puzzled.
I am a little bit.
Why?
I don't want to sound stupid, so give me a second.
Okay. Well, while you keep looking, Jay, have you ever been to Hawaii?
Have not yet. That's one of my on my list of places to visit.
Yeah, I have never been. And it's one of those, nice, beautiful, warm destinations that as Americans we get to just take a flight and just go over, right? Land and take advantage of all the beauty that is Hawaii. But it's incredibly sad that when things like this happen.
Yeah, no, and I have actually have some friends that are Hawaiian that live here in the state. really, really good people. And they actually went this year. They hadn't been in like a little over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So they went with their mom and they visited family. And I just kept looking at all the stuff they kept posting. And I was like, I should take a flight and meet up with them. Like
Seriously.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough a couple years back, pre-pandemic, I happened to be in Puerto Rico on vacation, and my cousin came down with our friend Keika. He's Hawaiian. He's one of the first people I met when I moved to Connecticut.
Nice.
So he and I are really good friends, and he came to Puerto Rico for the first time, and we hung out a couple of days, and he fell in love. He's like, I want a house right there.
Right there. I just put it right there.
Yeah, he was like, I'm done. I'm good. I'm good. I could live here, no problem. So, it's nice to know that, you have that connection.
Right.
And he's like, he went to Hawaii. He was like, dude, it's like Puerto Rico, but now I understand when you guys say I'm going home,
Mm-hmm.
there's a different feeling to traveling to a country that you call home and being here and saying you're home. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a huge difference that people don't realize that until you actually
Right.
make that trip.
I've always said, home is where the heart is, right?
Yeah.
So if you arrive somewhere and it completely takes your breath away and you feel at home, that's your home.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to be born somewhere to consider it your home, right? Home is where you want to, where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope, my hope for these people who have lost everything is that, we act quickly and get these people back on their feet. And I hope that that FEMA comes in and, starts making changes and changing these people's lives after such devastating destruction.
Yeah, they said it would be some like $5 or $7 billion.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
It's going to cost
and right now the death toll is 100 people so far.
So I haven't been. The last time I read it was like 32.
No, it's about 100, and
now,
it's due to increase because what
Yeah.
they're saying is that initially when they were able to start getting into these areas, what they were checking for was just the streets and cars.
Yeah.
Now they're actually being able to assess structures and decide whether or not it's safe to enter these structures and find more victims, right? And it's just a sad thing altogether. So
I know that they were saying that there were about 1,000 people that were missing or accounted for. The last time I read an article.
Did you find what you were looking for, darling?
No, I'm gonna ask off air.
Okay. So that being said, our heart goes out to the people of Hawaii and who are, of course, our American compatriots, and it's gonna be a long haul, but eventually, those who have the will to do it will rebuild. So
yes,
our heart goes out to all of you out there, Hawaii. And now I'll toss it over to you, Trish. You have a story that you would like to cover, and I think that'll take us to break.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about.
We'll talk all about the happy news and all the happy stuff on the second half of the break.
Okay, fine.
I mean, if you're okay with that,
Yeah,
I don't.
no, it's fine.
Cause,
This is actually kind of good news anyway.
okay.
So as we know, throughout the country, there are sweeping laws and regulations that are happening that are affecting the LGBTQ plus community, specifically the trans community. And this past week, on August 8th, or the day before, a federal judge had told a group of anti-trans parents to mind their own business after the group filed a lawsuit challenging an Ohio school district bathroom policy. Now, this is important because of a couple reasons, right? Because finally, you see federal judges standing up and saying, shut the fuck up.
Right.
One. And then two, it's in Ohio, which can be rural. And a lot of these people don't have resources that they need. The LGBTQ plus community don't have resources or support that they need.
Right.
Now, within this, he wrote in his ruling that the group has no reason to sue. Not every contentious debate concerning matters of public importance presents a cognizable federal lawsuit. cognizable. I'm saying that wrong. But whatever. While this girl who was initially forced to use the faculty or nurses' bathrooms because they were single occupancy, they were frequently occupied, so she felt ostracized, humiliated, and targeted by other students. So the school then eventually adopted a trans bathroom policy wherein she could use the bathroom. So the parents sued with various constitutional claims, from religious freedom to the right to raise their children as they see fit. But the judge wasn't impressed with their attempts to set the school policy based on their personal beliefs. Although parents have the right to make decisions about where they send the children to school, they have no constitutional right to revoke a school's policy on student bathroom usage.
Nice.
100% agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's wonderful, and you know, we have to talk about, because
I said it before I did.
Yes,
I know
did.
you've been working very hard to not say that. It was actually one of his like birthday things. He's like, I'm gonna try so hard to not say 100%.
Damn it!
No, but the thing is, you know, we see more and more in where people are trying to interject their personal beliefs into the way that public schools do business.
Well, not just public schools, in politics in general.
Well, I mean, but you have to think about more or less where a lot of these things are happening. And in the realm of public schools, you're starting to see parents now, for example, take seriously this bullshit that, you know, DeSantimonium initiated in Florida about books, and they're starting to challenge schools' decisions to provide certain types of books. And I'm like, listen, this is a public school. This public school is not here to encourage or support your religion over someone else's.
No, they're there to support the students,
and
their
educate them.
well-being
Right.
and their future.
Give them an education that's well-rounded, that is a curriculum that has been approved by whatever, you know, regulatory body in your state or on the federal level that approves, you know, public school curriculums.
And also maintain a safe space for all students. Like, shame on these fucking
Right.
parents. Like, you're literally ostracizing an entire group of people and an individual
Based on your beliefs.
And like we've always talked about, when you do that, when you single people out, when you start literally saying you can't identify, or you can't, you know, we won't embrace the fact that you identify this way, you're legitimately raising the rate of suicide.
Right. And the thing is, that argument will eventually flip. So I don't know about you, but I've been reading a lot of, you know, information in regards to the Catholic community, in regards to Christianity, in regards to, you know, what do you call them? Evangelicals, right? The amount of members that are dropping like flies, especially with millennials and zennials and all of these like other generations, as they're growing, realizing that religion doesn't have the emotional and the cultural hold on them that it did to their parents. They start realizing that eventually they are a minority. And when you have a majority of people who are not, I would say, faithful to a specific religion, and start pushing policies that are more inclusive, eventually they're going to get to the point where they feel now how they're making these people that they're targeting feel. And so all I say is be careful what you wish for.
But that's why the Pope keeps coming out and saying all this positive stuff about, you know, the LGBTQ plus community, because they're losing money.
Of course they are. But let me tell you a little something about that Pope. He literally says, you know, I'm all about supporting our brothers in the LGBTQ plus community as long as you follow the church rules.
But that's like everything.
And what does the church rule say?
God only fucking knows now.
Yeah, exactly. So
in lighter news, though, I do want to say that
this is a good thing.
This is a great thing,
right.
And it's not isolated, right? So last week, there was a different judge who ruled in favor of 3 other transgender students in Indiana whose school forbade them from using bathrooms matching their gender identities. So,
which is a neighboring state.
100. Yes, yeah, and yeah. You were right. But it's great to see, like we saw with the footprint that
The face you make when you fuck up. You didn't see it. You were like,
I don't want to look at my face. Like we said, like with DeSantis, like creating that footprint. Now we're seeing judges come out to combat that footprint,
right.
And I'm appreciative, and I think it's beautiful.
it's also important to note where we're seeing these pushbacks happening, right? These are states that they're almost like test tubes, I call them. I like to describe these states as test tubes because they're not a state that is blue. They're not a state that is red. For example, Ohio is a state that traditionally, in the past few cycles of elections in the past 30 years, has traditionally gone red when it comes to governors and things like that. But you see a lot of liberal things get through because there's such a diverse population when it comes to different things that people want to fight for, right? I'll give you an example. Ohio is one of those states right now where they wanted to put a provision on the November ballot to codify protections for abortion and a woman's right to choose in their state constitution. Now knowing that Roe v. Wade is gone, right? And in order to do that, they need a 51% approval to codify it, right? They have the votes to do that in November. Ohio will become a state that will support abortion right for every woman that lives in that state. But what the Republicans tried doing is setting up a special election in August to raise the threshold to 59, almost 60%.
Yeah, well, that sounds about right.
And people got polarized. They went to the polls and they defeated that bill, that initiative to bring that threshold for the people to speak their voice to 60%, and now it remains where it is, which means that
here's the thing, like
it's almost guaranteed that they will have codified protections for a woman's right to choose into their state constitution.
And you made a really good point. I think like we're approaching a tipping point, right? We're approaching a tipping point where a lot of these people that have sat on their laurels of religion and politics, they're being aged out, and now you're seeing a newer, younger group of Americans coming up and saying, "Fuck this shit. That's not happening."
Right.
And these politicians that used to just push shit through without being checked are being checked.
Right.
Because people are tired. They're done with it.
Right.
And those people are us.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the point that I was also trying to make with what I said is watch what happens in the Bible Belt in the Midwest, right? Because that's the thermometer for, in a sense, for what ends up going nationally. Right. You know how I always say when California passes a law, eventually every other state sort of kind of falls in line, because California has really, really amazing benchmarks when it comes to climate change, when it comes to emissions, pollution, things like that.
I think the Bible Belt, not necessarily the politicians, but the people that are standing up, I think that can tell you the temperature of what we can expect from all of this potential fallout.
Yeah, but also what they're working on and what they're passing and what they're not passing legislatively at the state level. Yeah. It speaks volumes for what the temperature is and what eventually will end up happening nationally. So, yeah. So in regards to this judge, bravo motherfucking vo. All right, so listen, that was a great first half. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we have more dish. We'll be right back. All right, well, ladies and gents, welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for allowing us to take that quick respite. We needed it. But we are back, and as we promised, we're going to jump right back into some of the things that we wanted to discuss on the second half of the show. Most of them happy, feel-good, amazing stories, things that are happening, people really choosing to represent themselves and declare who they truly are, and we're super happy for them. But we're going to kick it off, of course, with nothing other than what we're about to talk about next, which, of course, is the premiere of Red white and royal blue balls. And I say blue balls for a reason, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So as you can see, red, white, and royal blue released on Prime. So if you're a member of Amazon Prime, you get to watch the movie. We were supposed to watch it on the big screen in the backyard, but that didn't happen. But nonetheless, we did take an opportunity to watch it. And I'm going to toss it over to Trish first, because Trish, you read the books and you were so looking forward to watching the movie. So give us your opinion. Please opine on the movie.
Give us your rundown.
Your rundown.
As it runs down.
So I loved it.
Of course you did.
I cried a lot.
Of course you did.
But I had a couple like issues with it.
Yeah. I'm kind of happy though that we didn't watch it all together on your birthday, because ugly crying on your birthday wouldn't have been nice. I'm just saying.
At this point, everyone's seen it.
I don't think Jay has ever seen you ugly cry before.
No.
You have.
Oh, I definitely have. But those are private moments. We don't talk about that. I'm just saying, because that is very traumatic for those that experience it.
I'm sorry.
And so yeah, we don't talk about that. Wow. But anyway, as you were saying.
No, so I loved the movie. I thought they did a good job. Obviously, they had to like pare everything down a lot.
Right.
But Alex, who plays the president's son, his sister in the book, she's not really represented.
That beautiful man.
Yes.
He's coming.
She's not really represented in the movie, which bothers me because in the book, she wrote Alex's speech after everything happens, right?
Right.
And the speech was so beautiful and so important. And then also the person that plays Nora did a huge thing in the book that kind of turned the tide for the election that wasn't represented in the movie, which bothered me as well.
Right.
But I think my biggest qualm was there is a moment in the book where when everything comes out about the two of them, they have a meeting with the queen.
But in the movie, there's a king.
In the movie, there's a king. But they have this meeting with the queen at the time, right? And it's a very intense meeting about like representation and what they're going to decide to do and what they want to do, public facing about the relationship and how everything kind of shakes out. And that was such a pivotal moment in the book that I think was lost in the movie.
Right.
And then also we started the show with that quote, history, huh? I bet we can make some. Yeah. Which was such, at a certain point when they started talking to one another, there were a lot of emails, right? And history, huh, became this huge thing. And like to the extent at which in the book, people had made t-shirts when everything came out that said history, huh? And it was such like an emotional thing for me.
Right.
When I read the book, that like, I don't think they paid it justice because it is such a huge thing to say. I mean, you have the first son of America and the Prince of Wales, Prince of England, falling in love. And like, that is fucking historic.
Of course it is.
And so like paying homage to that is so important to me. And there was also this one other thing that really bothered me. There was this, remember the hospital scene when Henry was talking to the kids?
Yes.
Okay, so in the book, Henry's father passes away from cancer. So his philanthropic arm or thing is cancer. So children's cancer ward. And so he goes and he visits and all this stuff. And he has an off-camera moment in the book where he's talking to one of the girls about Star Wars and his favorite character in Star Wars, which was, not Luke. Who's the other one?
Leia?
No, not Leia.
Obi-Wan?
Mm-mm. Hans.
Han Solo.
Yeah. And then they have this whole email exchange about who they are in the relationship, like who's Leia, who's Luke, or who's Leia and who's Hans. And it comes out that, Alex is Hans, and why am I blanking on
William
is Leia, and
Right.
William writes back like, of course I'll be the Leia to your Hans, and they have this whole exchange. But then when everything comes out, some artist did this huge mural of William as Hans, William as Leia, and Alex as
with the whole outfit and everything.
yeah, with the blaster and all that stuff. And like that was the moment where Alex was like, he called his sister and was like, I need you to do me a favor. And that's when she wrote the speech.
The speech that he gave.
But in the book, he gave it with the prince standing behind him with his hand on his shoulder, like a unified front. And I thought there were a lot of I thought it was great. I really loved it. I'm probably going to watch it tonight. But
same.
But the thing is, I thought that there were really powerful moments that they decided to skip over because, they have 90 minutes.
Right.
But I think some of the choices they made were,
Took away from the movie.
yeah. And I think that some things weren't explained enough, like that moment when they were dancing in the museum. Do you remember that?
Yes, that was towards the end, later part in the movie.
There was this whole conversation with William and Alex about the fact that, he had always dreamed that one day he would be able to take his partner, his boyfriend, on this journey through this museum, which is something that his father, who passed away from cancer, used to do. So they would always go after hours or early in the morning before public was there. But there was this one specific statue of a royal who was actually gay, but then he was gay, but he was anti-gay, if that makes sense. So
Closeted and
right. And he always wanted to go to this beautiful statue, put on a song, and dance with the person in front of the statue. And they did that, but I felt like that moment wasn't really described enough.
Right.
Like people didn't understand the significance of it.
Well, there was a part in that scene
He kind of mentioned it
that he mentions it
but
and saying, "Hey, my father," and I always come here, and I think that
I think it kind of emphasized on the statue a little bit when they were talking about it.
Yeah.
But they didn't go into detail because they kept showing the statue, and to me, automatically, I was like, "All right, there's something going on with
that statue,
that statue, or what it means, or what." I think they could have explained it a little better. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will tell you though. So I want to talk about the two main actors a little bit, if you indulge me, that played in this movie. So first and foremost, we have Taylor Zakar Perez. Oh my God. I was like, okay. And then of course there is Nicholas, I think his last name is Galitzine, and he plays William. Obviously Taylor plays
Henry. Why do we keep saying William? It's Henry.
No, it's
Henry.
It's Henry?
Yeah.
Okay, well fine. Henry it is. And then Taylor obviously plays Alex. Both amazingly, beautiful actors. But what really struck me was, so I was like, okay, these scenes are so intense. They're giving me these two dudes are they're part of the community, and we're going to make this look as realistic as possible. And so I was like, all right, I need to start doing some research. I need to know if these actors are indeed part of the LGBTQ plus community, because we know that we've had,
non-legitimate
exactly people playing gay people, and those kisses on screen were so fucking steamy and realistic.
Oh, they sold the fuck out of it.
They sure fucking did. So I found out that first and foremost, let's start with Nicholas Galitzine. So he, in previous interviews prior to this movie coming out, has declared that he is a heterosexual man. Obviously, he's also a descendant of a Russian house of Golitsyn. an old prominent Russian noble family, the majority of which were executed or either exiled during the Russian Revolution or the Soviet in the Soviet era. I mean, he's absolutely gorgeous. You know, they both are. I mean, everyone's beautiful in their own special way. But these two boys, I was just like, oh my God, they're doing this on purpose. But my thing is like when he was bottoming in one of the scenes, right?
Mm-hmm. It was all tasteful, but very steamy.
Very steamy. And so I found myself questioning, saying to myself,
your sexuality?
No, I found myself questioning whether or not I was on Disney Plus, and I was like, wait. And then I had to remind myself, no, this is Prime. I was like, Disney actually released this? I forgot the company, the studio that released it. But that's another point. The point is that it was so convincing that I had to start researching to see if, indeed these were LGBTQ plus actors, because those kisses and the way that they were engaging themselves
they broke
physically, they fucking did, man.
No, it was better than broke back.
Oh, it seriously was.
But I mean, you know what I mean?
There was a tenderness in the way that they were kissing each other in one of these scenes. So anyway, I found out that Nicholas is actually a straight actor. But there's no information.
After that movie, I don't know. No, honestly, like he might be like, I'll think about it.
But there's no information on Taylor. Mr. Perez, who, by the way, is of Mexican descent. He's just absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. He has been in countless interviews. He has been asked countless times, and there is no account anywhere of whether or not he is bi, straight, gay, pansexual, asexual. Well, clearly doing a scene like that does not make you asexual, because I'm sorry, that's just no.
Well, I mean, you're an actor, so you never know. But
I will tell you,
I don't think that honestly,
if they're both straight actors, they need Oscars, because some of those suggestive scenes in where they were, clearly having sex and enjoying each other's company,
but they portrayed like a deep sense of love.
Indeed, but those scenes were steamy.
Oh yeah,
like steamy. Like I was watching the fumes and the fucking steam come out of my head.
You also noticed that in this specific movie, unlike many other LGBTQ movies, none of them really like acted flamboyant. They were both very straight acting.
And I had a problem with that, which is okay, because we understand the whole premise of the story is, hey, listen, I'm in a royal family and I can't be gay. But also, I'm also the first son and I have to be, Well,
the thing is, like, Alex, though, like the first son, while Prince Henry knew that he was gay the entire time, he had to have that facade. Alex didn't know that. Like, it wasn't until Henry really came into his life that he realized, and then he went back.
Well,
like,
it wasn't until he realized why Henry annoyed the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically because he was into him, right? And
that wasn't the only reason.
When you read in between the lines, like I like to, most times, you start seeing shit like that. Like,
yeah, he was into him, but like Henry dismissed him, and that's what.
Yeah.
Right. Because that was a very, very driving force for his emotional frustration.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to call it. With
it was
the
sort of
prince.
like Alex was in kindergarten or first grade, and he's like, I fucking hate her.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna hit her.
Yeah.
But I don't hate her.
Barbie away from that bitch.
Yeah, like I hate her, but I don't hate her.
Yeah.
And it's like, then you like.
It was. To me, I liked it. I liked the way it was set up.
You liked it.
I liked it.
You licked it.
All right. So
It was
favorite
a nice
moments.
setup. Favorite moments.
Favorite moment in the movie.
There were quite a few. That stood out. The museum.
Okay. All right.
The museum was a good scene. I think my favorite moment for me in the entire movie was when they decided at that point collectively that they were going to hold hands and just walk out on that balcony. And we all know the significance of the balcony, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever there's a royal marriage, the king and queen
Would go out.
or king consort or queen consort, they walk out on that balcony whenever there's a marriage, a prince or a princess, and the people get to see, right, and experience your love. The fact that scene really, like, I was like, okay, That's the one that got me emotional. I was like, all right, they're going to do this. They're going to go out into the public and they're just going to like truly just be themselves.
And
that was a good scene for me.
I mean, based on recent experiences with with England and people being taken off. What is it? What happened with the?
They weren't given titles
and all this nonsense. I kind of thought that was going to play into the movie, to be honest.
Which I wouldn't doubt it, and I'm sure that a lot of the writing in this book was sort of kind of like a twist on the whole.
Yeah, a little bit. I think
it's a rom-com. I mean, we're not going to get too political on it, but.
Yeah, in the book, there was a moment where Prince Henry's mom, who had pretty much been like vacant, not around in mourning, right, came out and pushed the Queen to say like, no, this is a moment. Like, this is a moment that we can like capitalize on. We can change the narrative. And that wasn't really depicted in the movie. But like that was the driving force behind the fact that they walked out on that balcony.
Oh my God. I thought that was such an amazing moment. I mean, there were other cute, like there are certain quotes that just got me. So the assistant, she was fucking fire. So when she caught them for the first time in that hotel room, and she was like, she goes like, and you better make sure that you leave this hotel and not one body will see you because I will Brexit your head from your body.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a like very clever line, right? And then there was that other line where she basically looks at him. She goes like, listen, you're going to have a photo op. And when that camera goes on, you better act like the fucking sunshine is coming out of his ass and you have a vitamin D deficiency.
You're going to turn on that 100-watt smile and like the fucking sun is coming out of your ass or his ass and you have a vitamin D deficiency.
I thought it's like, and this woman just played that character to death. I thought it was a good film.
I think my favorite moment in the film was when Alex shows up at the palace
unannounced
after Henry left him
in Texas
and didn't talk to him, and they just fucking had it out. They just fucking had it out, and they finally admitted to each other that they loved each other. Henry took off his signet ring.
Gave it to him, and he gave him the key.
Yeah, and they exchanged those like really symbolic things, and it was almost like a commitment to one another.
Like I feel that's something that you would do, but it would go totally in a different direction with you.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would have been arrested.
3 times now.
Fuck.
3 times.
Like,
no, I just
you left without saying nothing. I'm here to cut your ties.
So it was cute. It was cute. Will I watch it again? Absolutely, because it gave me the feels. I did get the feels, and again, it's not about loving cheesy things. Although Hans, when I posted that's the movie that we were going to watch, he was like, "Ha ha ha!" I was like, "Of course,
Because he probably hates the book.
He probably didn't write the book, so
no, it was
therefore he
by
hates
a woman.
it.
That's why he probably.
Probably, and we love you, Hans. We do. We honestly do.
But I've loved that book for a long time.
I'm sure, and it is a New York bestseller. So
and it was number 2 on Amazon. Well, I don't know if it ever made number 1, but it like the movie.
Hey, listen. All I can say is we're gonna find out how it does. Reviews are coming in left and right, and all that is left to say is that it was a very enjoyable pick, and there is nothing better than being able to see romance. Gay romance, LGBTQ plus romance depicted on TV. We didn't grow up with this shit. And, here we are acting like schoolgirls, right? Over a movie at our age. But that's because, this is the kind of stuff that we wished we had when we were younger, right?
The only other thing I will say that annoyed me a little bit.
Oh, God.
Was Henry always wore solid colored ties.
Yes.
Because you can't wear flashy ties. But when he showed up to the election,
the yellow tie,
he's supposed to be wearing a tie with yellow roses symbolizing the rose of Texas.
They said that.
Yeah,
He said
but
yellow, but it's a
like- but
yellow
they didn't
tie.
show it.
But the significance of the fact that like he had a pattern on his fucking tie
Yeah.
was huge, and it was kind of like brushed over.
So basically, you're upset because they downplayed that moment because it was such a huge thing for
It was
him.
a huge thing for
But they
Alex.
mentioned it.
It was a huge thing for Alex because Alex, he like showed up in support of Alex
Right.
at the election, and he had this tie, and Alex looked at him and he's like, You've got a pattern, and it's the yellow rose. He's like, yeah, well, it's the rose of Texas. And like that moment for Alex was so significant in the book because it was not just about the tie.
Right.
It was about
Support.
and like he is stepping out of what, you know, the world, what his family has told him he has to be with Alex.
Right. And the fact that he is taking a political stance, which is something that's a big no-no, right? He can't even vote in his own country, right?
Yeah.
You don't even need a driver's license in your own country. And you don't even, you know, as a prince in England, you don't even use your last name, right? Actually, I found out that the king or queen of England doesn't even need a passport to travel. They're one of 2 individuals, actually 3 individuals in the world that don't need passports. That is the king or queen of England. It feels weird to say king because we've always been so used to Queen Elizabeth. So the king or queen of England and the emperor and empress of Japan are the only 3 individuals in the world that don't need a passport.
That's 4.
They can just travel anywhere.
Totally.
Anyway,
Huh?
so check out the movie. It's really great.
King or queen. You can't have so
There's
the
currently
the
both.
monarch.
But there's currently both in England right now.
No, there's not.
The
You
king
have a
and his
queen
wife.
consort.
Okay.
The queen in her own right,
I
a
got
monarch, king or queen. Not Camilla needs a passport, but in Japan, the empress and emperor, they both don't need a passport. So 3 humans on this earth don't need a passport to travel.
Nice.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, I want to be one of them. But anyway, last thing I will say, Uma fucking Thurman.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kept looking at the mother and her weird fucking accent that was kind of aggravating me for a hot minute.
The Texan.
And I was trying to place her, and I was like, who the fuck is this? And I kept looking at her, and I'm like,
You didn't realize it was her?
that's Uma fucking Thurman at the end of the fucking movie. I mean, not obviously when the credits came up, like in the last scene, I was like, Kill Bill. That's immediately what came up to my mind. I was like, oh shit, it's Uma fucking Thurman. It's always good when you get surprised like that, right? Because, you know, you can clock actors and actresses that you've been watching their entire careers fairly quickly. I didn't clock her in the beginning. I had to sort of kind of like, why does this actress look familiar? And why is like her voice aggravating the fuck out of me right now? It was Uma fucking Thurman.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking love her. And I've always loved Uma Thurman and all the crazy things that she's ever done. You know, like Kill Bill. And, you know, she's, you know, what was the other one that she did? Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction,
right?
Poison Ivy and
Oh my God, yes. I loved her in that. But anyway, so that's that. So if you haven't had a chance, sorry if we ruined it for you or spoiled it for you. You know, Red, White, and Royal Blue is available on Prime. As a Prime member, you get to watch it for free. And if you don't have Prime, you can get Prime and still watch the movie. So make sure that you do that and get to experience the emotional roller coaster that was this movie, for me at least. We've got one more thing before we sign off that we want to talk about. We did mention in last week's episode that there were about 14 TV shows that were happening, that were coming out in the month of August that we thought you might want to watch. We posted that on our post. You can go check that out on the website. We're not going to revisit that. But I will tell you that Heartstopper Season 2 is out. I haven't watched it.
I started watching the episode today,
Shut up, chicken.
but
Did you watch Heartstopper yet?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay. I have not. But I will tell you that the British actor Joe Locke came out publicly recently. The Heartstopper lead has long assumed to have been queer, but he had never acknowledged his sexuality until now. Locke, 19, spoke to Teen Vogue and shared that he had been out for a while. I have been openly gay since I was like 12. people have assumed and written it, but I haven't ever corrected anyone because I haven't felt the need to do so. I've never specifically stated my sexuality until now. And the fact that you are a lead in one of the most heartwarming shows that, we ever got to experience, is great, and his co-star, right, came out, I believe, as bisexual a couple of years ago when Heartstopper first came out. Yeah. And I think it's just wonderful. So I'm excited to see the show. Congratulations to Joe Locke for coming out and living in your truth. Because
there's a picture of him at DC Pride.
Really?
Yeah.
I just think that, he will inspire many others to, do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And also good for him for I'm not going to say it. We'll talk about that off camera. That's all I'm going to say about that. And that being said, then we're going to go ahead and move on to the final few things for the show. We had one more story, but yeah, we don't have enough time for that. We're going to wrap it up. We'll leave that for next week. So, Trish, I'm going to toss it over for you, or to you, or you know what?
Thank you. All right, everybody. Here's Mama Kim's Minute. Number one, a generation full of fighters, young progressives, are rising up to defend LGBTQ plus equality. Number two, out Dr. Jeannie
Gian.
No, it's Jeannie. Marzazzo to replace Dr. Anthony Fauci at NIAID, which I don't know what that is. Number three,
National Institution for AIDS.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
It's Gene Marazzo.
No, I think that's Jeannie.
Okay.
Anyway, number three, judge tells anti-trans parents to go sit down and leave the kids alone. That's not the one I wanted to put in there, but that's the one that's there.
Okay, but that's what we talked about earlier too. So, yeah. All those stories are available. They'll be on tonight's post. You can go ahead and click on the links and read those. And those are brought to you, of course, by our beloved Mama Kim, who we had an opportunity to actually FaceTime with this weekend in lieu of Trisha's birthday. And she was so happy and looked so radiant. And we love you. And thank you for being the fantastic, ally that you are. So, Jay Bird, off to you.
Hey. So, as we go on this day in gay history, this microphone sounds funky for some reason.
Yeah. Close your legs. Because you're getting feedback.
100%. On this day in gay history, first openly gay Canadian politician to win leadership of party with legislative representation
took. That makes
It kind of feels like it's unfinished, doesn't it?
Yeah, it threw me off a little bit too.
So August 14th, the year was 2006 in Canada. Andre, Boisclair becomes the leader of the party.
Like, I feel that's French, and I feel like we just totally,
I did that in purpose.
Quebecois. A social... How is it? Quebecois? Quebecois?
The party...
Quebecois? Anyways, we butchered that enough. A social democratic and separatist party in Quebec. Jeez, thank you, Miss Trish.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
It was an accident.
Of course it was.
Absolutely.
There's no accidents with you.
Tom pissed her off and she took it out on me. That's okay.
Well,
I've taken both of you.
What happened? Did you delete the entire post?
No,
I just changed something real quick.
Oh, okay. There it is.
So we're moving on to our announcements, and here we go.
Go for it.
If you love the show, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting service. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as the episode is published. You can also support us on Patreon. With Patreon, you, our beloved listeners, can help us support the show with a pledged donations. The donations are collected monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more.
I love when he embellishes. He sounds cute.
Embellishes.
He sounds hot.
Big words.
Like I want to
Nick,
jump
over
on a
to
bear
you.
all of a sudden.
All right. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, get the Future Method today.
The intern clearly wasn't ready.
And all other products. All products are doctor developed and can clean out without hurting your bum. Take confidence anywhere with the anal powder packs, and now increase your stretch goals with the 3-piece anal dilation kit. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum accessory today.
That's Queen. Jaybird, back to you.
And as always, it's time to put a ring on it. See, we need to change that because we don't use that phrase.
I like fucking with you, so you know. You see
if
rubber
I
and he
slip
says,
up, right?
Yeah, you know.
I never slip.
He just lands on it.
Our show is available on our website, GayTalk2.0.
On your boyfriend.
On the audio podcast. It feels like Saturday night all over again. Let's start this.
Oh my God.
Our show is available on our website, GayTalk2.0, under audio podcast. It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Stitcher Radio. Nick?
All right, you can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0. You can email us at GayTalk2.0 at GayTalk20.com. Tom, it's your turn.
I'm going to try not to fuck it up, so that's all I'm going to say. So if you need to reach out to us, you can just head on over to our website, click on the Contact Us tab, which is located at the top of your web browser. There, you can leave comments, suggest topics, submit a question for the cast, or an individual host. You can also call us and leave us any questions that you may have via voice message. Our phone number is 334-GAY-TALK, and if you need all those digits, just simply dial 334-429-8255. Now, don't forget, I changed things a little bit here, that this show streams live on video every Monday via YouTube for the summer, of course. Patreon supporters get access to the video live the day of recording. The episode is made available on video for the following week for everyone else. So if you want to get in the action with the live videos, make sure that you go and become a Patreon subscriber. That being said, ladies and gents, that is our show. Thank you, and y'all have a good night. Bye!
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.